Aquí vamos. Here we go. We're going to record for folks who aren't in yet tonight. Muy bien. Y bienvenidos, bienvenidas. Espero que ustedes estén bien. I hope you are well. What I have planned for tonight is to do some review on Destinos, some practice with those commands so that you guys can practice one-on-one. A chance for you guys to talk in small groups about opinions on different things that are not necessarily connected to commands. So yes, we'll do commands, but yes, we'll also do some regular just opinion kind of talk in small groups. And, you know, very, very general things. Y qué más? Y preguntas and questions, if you have questions on the reading. So, ¿dónde debemos empezar? Where should we begin? Let's begin. Vamos a empezar. Empecemos con destinos. Empecemos con destinos. I want to start with destinos because, porque, because the wonderful thing about destinos is that this was laden with commands. So before I send you into smaller groups to practice those pesky commands, and a lot of these were two commands in this episode, so there was a method to my madness this time. Let's kind of take a quick overview. Vamos a ver, and I'm going to have these turned on. Empezamos con una llamada telefónica con Patty. ¿Quién es Patty? ¿Quién es Patty? ¿Quién es Patty? Oh, perdón, share screen. Ayuda mucho. Tengo que compartir. I need to put it on share screen. Oh, no pueden ver nada. You can't see anybody. Hablo de Patty, ¿verdad? ¿Quién es Patty?
Patty es la esposa de Juan. Juan es hijo de Don Fernando.
Sí, Juan es el hijo menor. El hijo menor es youngest, ¿sí? El hijo menor de Don Fernando y la esposa de Juan es Patty. ¿Y dónde viven Patty y Juan? ¿Dónde viven? Porque no viven en México.
Nueva York.
En Nueva York, sí, en Nueva York. Y Juan es profesor de literatura. ¿Qué hace Patty? ¿A qué se dedica? This is a way of asking what somebody does for a living. To what do you dedicate yourself? ¿A qué se dedica Patty? ¿A qué trabajo se dedica?
Theater.
Sí, exacto, teatro. Ella trabaja en el teatro. Ella es directora de teatro. Y entonces ella estaba hablando o conversando con alguien en Nueva York. Estaba preguntando qué clase de problemas. ¿Qué clase de? There are two ways to ask the idea of kind. Not kind as in nice. Kind as in type. ¿Qué tipo de problemas o qué clase de problemas? Those are two different vocab ways of asking what sort of or what kind of problems do we have. ¿Sí? ¿Qué clase de problemas? Bueno, hay problemas en el teatro. ¿Bien? Y entonces, ¿quién es ese tipo? Who's this guy?
Carlos.
Carlos, se llama Carlos. Carlos es un hermano de Juan. Es un hermano mayor de Juan. También es hijo de Don Fernando. ¿Dónde vive Carlos?
Miami.
Vive en Miami.
Carlos
Miami.
Miami.
Su secretaria es la cubana Ofelia, sí. Exacto. Carlos vive en Miami. Bueno, y opino que hay problemas en la oficina de Carlos. Pobre
Sí.
Carlos. Opino que, I think that, opino que hay problemas en la oficina. Todavía no sabemos cuáles son sus problemas, pero hay problemas. Parece un poquito preocupado, ¿no? He looks a
Sí.
little worried. Sí, y entonces si Roberto, Roberto todavía está en la excavación. Pobre
Profesora,
Roberto.
pregunta, por favor.
Sí, dime, Keith.
So, Carlos y Juan, hermanos.
Exacto.
Okay. Carlos y Juan, hermanos.
Carlos, Juan y
con Ángel Castillo.
ok, vale. Carlos, Juan, Raúl, el muy alto. El hombre muy alto, muy delgado.
Sí.
Es Raúl. Momentito, voy a buscar una foto de... ¿Dónde está Raúl? ¿Dónde
Ramón.
está Raúl?
Ramón?
Oh, Ramón, perdón, Ramón,
Yeah.
gracias. Ramón. Pronto. Ok, Ramón. Aquí
Ramón.
tenemos Ramón. Ramón es el otro hermano. Entonces hay 3 hijos y una hija. 3 hijos. De la segunda, del segundo matrimonio, the second marriage, ¿sí? Del segundo
Sí.
matrimonio. Hay
Sí.
3, claro, sí, 3, Ramón, Carlos y Juan, y entonces Mercedes también. Bueno, ok. Aquí está Mercedes. Entonces Mercedes, Ramón, Carlos y Juan son los 4 hermanos, los 4 hijos de don Fernando, el enfermo, ¿no? El enfermo. Muy bien. Entonces, mira, listen to how he starts.
Hola, Mercedes.
Sí, Carlos.
Hablé al hospital a Guadalajara.
Hablé al hospital. I talked to the hospital en Guadalajara. El especialista está en Guadalajara, ¿no? Ok.
Un momento.
Y saca algo para escribir la información.
Dime.
¡Boom! Dime. Tell me. Now, why are these 2 commands? These are 2 commands because they're family talking back and forth, right? So, dime. And the di is the command part, and the me is tell it to me, right? So, okay. Bueno, dime. Ella está copiando información sobre el especialista que está en Guadalajara, que no está en la Ciudad de México. Ok. Y mientras tanto, meanwhile, Juan y Pati, pobre Pati. Juan y Pati tienen problemas, ¿no? ¿Por qué tienen problemas? ¿Qué quiere hacer Pati? What does Pati want to do? ¿Qué quiere hacer Pati?
New York.
Regresar a New York.
Ella quiere regresar a Nueva York, ¿sí? En su opinión, en la opinión de Patty, porque hay problemas en el teatro, ella tiene que regresar a Nueva York, ¿sí? No es que quiere escaparse de los problemas del hospital o los problemas de la familia, pero en su opinión, los problemas son graves y ella tiene que regresar a Nueva York. Y a Juan no le gusta tanto esta idea. No le gusta tanto. No le gusta tanto. Ah, ¿cuántas veces tengo? How many times do I have to tell you? I've got a professional life with deals to make. Compromisos means deals or commitments that she's got. In this case, it's really a commitment. Compromisos, I've got commitments, buddy.
Hay cosas que requieren mi atención.
Sí, sí, ya me lo has dicho 1000 veces.
You've told me 1,000 times. Thanks for telling me that, Juan. Okay. 1000 veces, ¿no?
Sí, pero parece que no lo comprendes.
Lo que no comprendo es que tu vida profesional sea más importante que yo.
This looks like a command, but it's not, but it's related to it. Lo que me parece, what seems to me is this. Now he's talking about his opinion. And because he's talking about his opinion, this verb goes into this funny thing, which is called subjunctive. Es que tu vida profesional sea más importante que yo. Your professional life might be, we don't have a verb form like this thing sea. And it is directly related to this idea of the sea you saw as a tu command or an usted command, really. An usted command. Your life must be more important than mine in this, he's talking in a world of opinions here. When we talk in the world of opinions and not actual living, breathing fact of it's really going on, you will hear people using what sounds like a funny kind of verb that sounds like a command, and it's formed the exact same way as a command. This is called subjunctive. It is called subjunctive. So what he's saying is, what, lo que, what I don't understand, what I don't get, and it's clocking. What I don't get is that, you know, your professional life might be more important, maybe is more important than, you know, mine.
So when he says yo, it means mine and not me.
Not me. I thought it meant.
Yeah, I
me.
thought it meant your job is more important than me.
That's what I was thinking. No?
Let's take a look at exactly. Uy, ay, momento.
Yo tengo una vida profesional con compromisos. Hay cosas que requieren mi atención.
Sí, sí, ya me lo has dicho 1000 veces.
Sí, pero parece que no lo comprendes.
Lo que no comprendo es que tu vida profesional sea más importante que yo.
More important than I am, yeah. Que sea más importante que yo. It's more important than I am. Okay. Remember, this is in the 80s. And this might, you know, things change slowly. And, you know, in a more male-dominated family situation, this was a bigger kind of issue in the 80s than it is now. Although, you know, we all have our issues with it from time to time.
Mira, Juan.
Mira, Juan. She gives him a command. Mira.
Look.
Look.
Juan. Hey, buddy.
Yeah. Hey, buddy.
She does
Voy
it
a
more than
tratar-
once. Yeah.
Voy a tratar de explicarlo. I'm going to try to explain it to you. I'm going to try to explain it
Explicártelo una vez.
one more time.
No es que mi vida profesional sea más importante que tú.
She's saying, contrary to what you think, it's not that my professional life is more important than you are. So she is denying that that is the fact. And because she is denying, she is saying that is not the reality of the situation, bud. It is not more important. Here's what's the...
Pero la obra me necesita a mí en este momento.
But la obra, the artwork, because, you know, el teatro es una obra de teatro. So this play, la obra, she's referring to the play. La obra me necesita a mí, and she's being very emphatic. Me necesita a mí. It would have been enough to just say me necesita, but it's me necesita a mí en este momento. Okay.
Momento. Yo soy la autora,
I'm the author.
soy la directora.
I'm the
Hay
director.
problemas y solo puedo resolverlos yo.
There are problems out there that
Only I.
I'm it.
have
I
to
gotta solve them. She is hot under the collar.
Pero ¿por qué tienes que ir a Nueva York?
What do you gotta go to New York for? Porque no hay internet, because now she cannot Zoom, because it's 1989. Yeah, so she can't Zoom. Y eso
No
es
lo
por
puedes
qué.
hacer desde aquí, por teléfono.
Why can't you do this on the
Telephone.
Teléfono.
Juan, estamos hablando de una obra de teatro.
We're talking about a work of theater.
Lo que tú dices es como pedirle a un doctor que cure a un enfermo por teléfono.
Oh, what you're asking is like a doctor can cure somebody. And I want you to notice this funny thing that happens again. Estamos hablando, and I'm going to stop it here.
Teatro. Lo que tú dices es como pedirle un
It's like asking a doctor, pedirle a un doctor, asking a doctor that he should do this. Que cure a un enfermo por teléfono.
Cure a sickness on the telephone.
That he could cure a sick person. It's like asking, oh, shoot, that's what we do now.
I was gonna say,
Telemedicina. En los años 80 o 90, antes de los años de telemedicina, okay, que cure a un enfermo por teléfono. And wait a minute, isn't cure from curar an AR verb? It is. But when you ask a second different person to do something, it goes into that funny form. The funny form that sounds wrong. Cure should not end in cure. It's from curar, an AR verb. But when it goes into subjunctive, it goes into the opposite vowel. So when you hear people talking with the opposite, the wrong vowel, it sounds like, hey, they must are they dumb? Are they uneducated? No, they're not. It's because they're either giving somebody a command or they're talking about a situation that isn't really a part of reality, or wanting somebody else to do something. That's what subjunctive is about, okay? And in English, we don't even have this. We would say, you're asking a doctor to cure a sick man on the phone. We say to cure. In Spanish, you can't say it that way. If one person asks a second different person to do something, it goes into this funny, oddball, looks like it's wrong thing called subjunctive. And it's formed exactly like a command is. An usted command. Because basically that's what it is. Okay.
Pati, tú no eres doctora.
You're no doctor. Ooh. Tú no eres doctora. Ay, low blow. Okay. Pobre Juan y Pati. Oh. And what if dad dies while you're over there?
Look, Juan, I'm not
Soy responsable de esto.
Not my problem.
Ooh.
All right.
Ooh. Not my problem. Ooh. Okay. En la cultura hispana, discuten. This is a bad argument in an Hispanic family. La familia es la reina de la vida. Family life is like it trumps everything in Hispanic life as a general rule. It is not a stereotype to say that. It is largely, it is a very cultural thing. Family life trumps all in most Hispanic cultures. So this is like a really bad argument. Okay.
Yo no tengo la culpa de la enfermedad de nadie ni.
Not my fault. Yo no tengo la culpa de la enfermedad de nadie. Nobody's illness is my fault. Ay.
Su curación.
Nor they're getting cured. Gracias, Patty.
Yeah.
No quiero que tu papá se muera, pero
I don't want your dad to die. Wait a minute. Maybe I better tell Juan I'm not being quite so heartless. Yeah. No quiero que tu papá se muera. One person, don't want that a different person should do this. I don't want that your dad should kick off. No quiero que tu papá se muera. And look at se muera. It looks wrong because that comes from morir, an IR verb. Shouldn't it have an e? Hey, what's the matter with muere? ¿Por qué no muere? Because I want somebody else to do something. It does a thing that looks like a command. That's what subjunctive is about. Okay, I tell a doctor to do something. I don't want a dad, a second person, to kick off. Okay.
tampoco puedo hacer nada para curarlo.
Tampoco, neither can I do anything to make him well. She's trying to make this better. Sort of.
Mira, yo sí voy a Nueva York. Voy a resolver mi problema. Y en cuanto lo haya hecho, regreso a México.
As soon as I've done that, I'm coming back.
Pero si tú no quieres tener una mujer profesionista en tu vida, eso es otro asunto.
Ooh, but if you don't want a professional woman for a wife, that's another matter. Eso es otro asunto. That's another matter. Okay. Vale. Bueno.
So Marilyn, could you go back about 2 sentences?
Sí,
There's
sí.
something that I'm confused on.
This one here?
Y en cuanto haya hecho.
En cuanto,
So
as soon as.
It's the haya hecho that threw me.
Yeah. The haya hecho is also subjunctive, and it's kind of complex. What really drives this is this phrase en cuanto, en cuanto, en cuanto, as soon as. Certain phrases trigger subjunctive. And when I say the word trigger, that means when certain phrases are used, it's going to dictate that the next sentence has to kick into subjunctive mode. So one trigger is I am asking somebody else to do something. And the somebody else asked them this other action that the somebody else does now has to kick into subjunctive. Pedir is a trigger. I don't wanting somebody else to do something kicks the somebody else action into subjunctive. And here's another one, and this one is a complex one. En cuanto, as soon as. Let's think about the phrase en cuanto, and esto es complicado. As soon as I finish this class, I'll clean the dishes. Is cleaning the dishes happening right now?
No.
It's not really happening, is it? Okay. As soon as I finish class, has that happened yet?
No.
As soon as I finish class, right? And I haven't finished class yet. I'm in the middle of class. So whatever follows the as soon as is not a matter of reality. And anything that is not real, or anytime you're asking somebody else to do something, it's a trigger. It kicks that next verb into subjunctive mode. And that means the opposite ending. And this is an haya hecho, as soon as I have done it. This haya would be, you would think it should be he hecho, I have done. He hecho, I have done. But because I've got the en cuanto, We're saying as soon as I have done it, and I haven't done it yet. So it kicks haya hecho into subjunctive. Remember I gave you dishes,
Yep.
dar,
Yeah.
and I told you, you don't have to worry about haber. You don't
There it is.
worry about haber. Well, you don't have to worry about haber for a command. Okay? Because you can't make I into a command. But this compound perfect tense stuff, have, done, two verbs working together like that, that's where haber does kick into the dishes scenario. Haya hecho. Haya is not a command, but subjunctive is formed the exact same way that commands are formed. So the haya hecho is just an irregular for haber, and we're saying as soon as I have done, the hecho is the done, have done, haya, have, hecho, done. As soon as I've done it, I'm coming back to Mexico. Regreso a Mexico. But this haya hecho is not a done deal. It is not a part of reality. It has not happened yet. It is highly hypothetical. She may not resolve her problems and may not come back at all. En cuanto requires that whatever comes next goes into subjunctive. This is just a more complex subjunctive because you're using the two verbs together.
Okay, and elaborate just a little bit on the hecho.
Hecho is the past participle of haber, hacer.
Okay.
Hacer. We can't take hacer, H-A-C-E-R, hacer, and say ha sido. Hado, ido aren't a thing. Hecho has an irregular past participle. Hecho, dicho, roto, it's got a bunch of irregular. There are a bunch of irregular verbs for past participles, and hecho is one of them. Normally, you can form a past participle by saying leer, leído, read. He leído, I have read. He leído este libro, I have read this book. Okay? Normally, I can say, he terminado los ejercicios. I have finished the exercises, right? But some verbs have an odd form. Instead of terminado or leído, you get forms like hecho, which are just oddball forms, or escrito, which is an oddball form for escribir, or dicho, which is an oddball form for decir. Okay, so you're not going to hear a lot of these in here, but here was one they threw at you.
Okay.
Okay, I don't expect you to be able to use that yet. It is kind of complex.
Excellent.
If you want to, you can go ahead and go for it, but it would require a lot of work, I'll be honest. So I wouldn't get too tied up with that. Okay, entonces hay una lección de hería, 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 hería. This little suffix here, hería. Hería se refiere a una tienda donde se vende algo especial. Okay. En la cultura latina, en la cultura de Europa, in European culture, you know, this whole thing of a big box store was not a thing for years and years and years. You know, people will go to a separate store, and some of them still do, by the way, even to this day. There are separate stores for dairy products sometimes, separate store for your bakery, separate store for your pastry, separate stores sometimes for your fishmonger, the person who sells fish, for the guy who's just a butcher, but that's all he does. So these little stores all traditionally got a suffix on them, hería, and the first part of the word tells what it is they sell. Pescadería sells fish. Pescadería. Carnicería sells meat. Carnicería sells meat. Okay, a fruteria would sell fruit. A florería would sell flowers. Eso es. Perfumería would sell perfume. So there are a lot of stores like this that get an eria. And they had a cute little thing. They were showing how little kids misspell things. That S sound can be spelled with a C-E, C-I, a Z, or an S. It shows you where little kids do spelling mistakes in Spanish. And pasteleria, confiteria, where they sell confites, candies, okay? And then they reinforce that, panaderia, farmacia is one of the odd things that isn't like the others. Farmacia. Farmacia doesn't have a PH, right? Like we have in English, farmacia, and it doesn't have eria. She's still kind of hung up on pasteleria, but they're spelling them out. And later they take Lupe to the store. Okay.
Problemas.
Problemas. Aquí vienen los problemas. Aquí tenemos Pedro. Pedro es el hermano de don Fernando. Sí. Y don Fernando y Pedro son las personas, los jefes principales de la compañía. Okay. And they do all share responsibilities, apparently, as many families would with a family-run business. Okay. Y entonces, preocupado, pobre Carlos.
¿Algún problema? Tenemos que hacer cuentas.
We got to settle accounts. Okay. I'm late. Se me hace tarde. I'm late. Gotta go. Está preocupado el pobre. Ok. ¿Y qué más? ¿Qué más? ¿Qué más? ¿Dónde? La reunión con los contadores. The meeting with the accountants. Hay una reunión. Aquí está Ramón. Oh, no. Y Lupe va de compras. So they're going to have Lupe go on her way. And Lupe goes to the stores. So they show her Lupe going to the stores. They reinforce the carniceria, confiteria, all of those words here. So it's.
Perdón.
Sí, dime.
Pregunta, por favor. I'm going to ask in English to expedite this.
Está bien.
When the little girl is spelling, when she gets to the last part of the word, the iria, the I, she says something
Y con
beyond
acento.
the I and then the A, the final A.
Y con acento. Y con acento.
Yes.
Y con acento. I with an accent.
That's it. Thank you.
So when they spell, when little kids spell, or anybody spells, they don't spell the whole word and then say, oh, and there's an accent on the I. They'll say the letter y con acento, y con acento. Or sometimes they'll express that as y con diéresis, and which you don't really need to know as a tourist because you're not going to do that. You're not taking a spelling test yet.
Okay, thank
But
you.
yeah, they're just bringing that up because it is a spelling thing for kids. Okay. A ver, and you see how many, she goes to all these different stores. This is still a thing in many, many parts of the Hispanic world. We even have the zapateria. We even have the zapateria, a place where they fix shoes, repair shoes. Reparadora de calzado. Wow, that's all run together. Shoe repair. Yeah? Okay.
Finalmente, para en la zapatería.
Para, she stops.
Buenos días, Lupe. ¿Y don Fernando?
Muy mal. Todavía está en el hospital.
Que la Virgen lo cure.
Que la Virgen lo cure. May the Virgin
Cure him.
Cure him. A lot of people will start, this is not a full-blown sentence. There's something missing off the front end, but people say this all the time. What's missing from the front is espero que, I hope that. Or ojalá que, hopefully. Or quiero que, I want that, this should happen. Ojalá, which is that hopefully word. Ojalá is not even a verb. Ojalá que, or espero que, I hope that. I hope that the Virgin does this for him. I hope, one person, hope that this happens with another person. It kicks in, it dictates that we have this funny form. Cure. Que la Virgen lo cure. May the Virgin cure him. You are throwing out good wishes to someone. Okay?
Gracias, Hernán. Hasta luego, ¿eh?
Hasta luego, Lupe. Hasta luego. Este señor se llama Hernán Trujillo y trabaja de zapatero. Nació y vive en México, pero como muchos otros mexicanos, Hernán Trujillo.
Okay, hablan aquí, and here they're not talking about, norteamericanos de ascendencia mexicana. Ascendencia es descent. Descent, okay? Whoever you came from in your family tree. Ascendencia mexicana. Ok, y hablan mucho de algo muy común aquí en el oeste y todos nosotros que vivimos aquí en el suroeste sabemos que hay mucha gente de ascendencia mexicana. Ok, y hablan de eso muy que todo el mundo sabe. Everybody knows this, ok? Ok. Y hablando un poquito de la historia y de los mexicano-americanos que viven aquí en el suroeste, en California y todos. La reunión. La reunión. Auditores son contadores especiales. Auditors are special kind of accountants, right? Auditores que acaban de hacer una revisión. They have just done a look-see through the accounting books, right?
Revisión de las finanzas de la compañía de la familia Castillo. Las noticias no son buenas.
Sabía que había problemas,
I knew there were problems.
pero no pensaba que fueran tan graves.
I didn't think they were that bad. This fueron thing is not a present subjunctive, but a past subjunctive. It just means I did not know that they were so bad. Don't worry about the fueron. Fueron is they were. It didn't occur to me that they might be that bad. We're not really sure how bad they really are. It's still in kind of iffy, doubtful territory here if he's using this word fueron. Okay.
Yo tampoco.
Me either, he says.
Ustedes, señores, ¿qué nos recomiendan?
¿Qué nos recomiendan? What do you guys recommend to us? And this verb recomendar, like pedir, like querer, when I come into a second human being in the next part of the sentence, if I recommend that somebody else do something, this verb recomendar is going to kick into subjunctive again. So watch what happens.
Que tomen medidas drásticas.
That you guys take drastic measures. We recommend that you guys gotta bite the bullet. One person recommends that somebody else does this. The somebody else action becomes tomen, not toman. So whenever we want somebody else to do something, not I want to sell the company, but I want you to sell the company. Whenever one person wants somebody to do something, one person asks somebody to do something, One person recommends that somebody do something. It's going to kick that verb into what looks like a wrong conjugation. We call it subjunctive. Okay? One person imposing their will for somebody else to do it, because that second piece hasn't happened yet. It's not a part of reality yet. Have they sold the company yet? They're recommending it, and that's why they use tomen.
Que cierren la oficina en Miami.
Que cierren. Here's what else he recommends. Que cierren la oficina en Miami. We recommend that you
Close
the Miami office.
Miami office.
Que es la causa de los problemas. ¿Qué es la causa? They're talking about la oficina en Miami.
Es Carlos. La cosa.
Tienes razón. Sí. This is Carlos's little domain. They're talking about shutting that baby down.
He seems to know.
He seems to know. Why does he seem to know that? I wonder why he seems to know that. This may surface at some point, but it has not yet. Okay.
Después, se deben concentrar en la producción de acero.
I should focus on steel production. So they got all kinds of, I don't know, some conglomerate.
¿Y la Gavia?
La Gavia is their home, their ancestral home. Okay, this is the big estate where they're standing right now, La Gavia.
Lamentablemente,
Sadly, sadly,
nuestra recomendación es venderla.
our recommendation is to
Sell it.
sell off the family homestead. Yeah, this ain't going good. Hace falta, you need capital. Hace falta capital, you need capital.
Bien. Vamos a estudiar detenidamente las posibilidades.
We'll take a look at this.
We'll think about it. Yeah.
We'll think about it. We're gonna study this closely.
Muchas gracias.
Oui.
Tenemos que hablar con Carlos.
Yeah, we gotta talk with Carlos. Sí. Okay. Entonces el pobre enfermo que no sabe nada de los problemas con Mercedes. He's talking about he really wants to go home. I would feel way better at home. I don't want to die without meeting my new grandkids. Yeah. Okay. On and on. Oh, she's got a command. Ten un poquito más de paciencia. Dad, chill. Ten un poquito más de paciencia. She gives him a command. Dad,
Have some patience. A little patience.
have a little more patience, Dad. Not so quick to go home. I know you want your bed at home.
Más de paciencia. Pronto regresarás a casa.
Soon you'll go home with all of your grandkids, not just the new ones. Okay. Y entonces hablamos un poquito. Oh, look at this word. Ojalá haya. It came up one more time. Una vez más. You should know this magic word, ojalá. Ojalá. I have shown you ojalá, or have I? Years ago? Hace años. Ojalá is an ancient word that actually comes from Arabic. It comes from the word for Allah, God, the Arabic word for God. God willing. Ojalá is kind of a, shall we say, bastardized version of the original Arabic. It means God, if God wills it, this may happen. Ojalá, which is used sometimes by itself, ojalá, as you see here, or sometimes ojalá que needs subjunctive. Hopefully, he's received the message.
So it's from the Arabic inshallah.
Inshallah.
Gracias, sí, okay. So we know their word as Allah, and you kind of see kind of buried in there, Allah, yeah. Ojalá que haya recibido. Hopefully he has received the message, but if we're saying hopefully, do we know if he got that message that I called in to the hotel? No sabemos, we do not know. So it goes into haya recibido. Hopefully he may have received this message. You don't have to know how to use it. You just have to know that it means this is an iffy thing. We don't really know if it's happened, if it has happened or not. Okay. Están hablando del accidente, Pedro ha logrado, and this is a fact, versus haya logrado, no, might have been successful. No, Pedro really did get in touch with Arturo. It's a fact. So it goes into plain old present tense. Ha logrado comunicarse. He has reached Arturo. Okay. Y hablaron un poquito. They talked a little bit. You know, they're trying to catch up. El pobre todavía está en el accidente. And we get a little lesson, And right at the end, we get this fun little Easter egg right at the end. Oh, it's a fun Easter egg.
Yeah.
It's a fun Easter egg. Oh, ¿quién es esa mujer? Es la mamá de Raquel. La mamá de Raquel. La mamá de Raquel no está en España, no está en México, está en Los Ángeles. Está en Los Ángeles. Y, bien. ¿Y qué pasa aquí?
¿Aló? ¿Se encuentra la señora Rodríguez?
Do I have señora Rodríguez on the line?
Sí, ella habla.
Señora Rodríguez, ¿a que no adivina quién habla?
No, a ver. ¿Eres Luis?
Is that you, Luis?
¿Todavía reconoce mi voz después de tantos años?
You remember my voice after all those years? Of course, you used to be.
Raquel's sweetie.
You used to be my daughter's boyfriend.
¿Cómo estás?
How you doing?
¿Estás en Los Ángeles?
You're in LA.
Sí, me he mudado otra vez a Los Ángeles.
I moved back to LA. Me he mudado. I have moved back. Mudarse is to move your residence. Pick up and move your place of residence. Me he mudado otra vez. I have come back to live in Los Angeles.
Acabo de llegar y quería antes que nada hablar con ustedes.
I just got back. And I wanted before anything else. Instead of saying before anything, they say before nothing. I wanted before anything else to talk with you guys. Sí.
Making points. Making points.
¿Por qué no viene? Why don't you come right now? ¿Por qué no vienes ahora mismo? Why not come over right now? Pancho and I, must be her hubby, we're just here all by here, our lonesome, solos, by ourselves.
Aquí estamos Pancho y yo solos.
Me gustaría.
I'd like to.
Salgo enseguida.
I'll take off
Está
right away.
bien, te esperamos.
We'll be waiting for you. Ooh.
Luis ha regresado a Los Ángeles.
Bien. Voy a meterme la nariz. I'm going to stick my nose in my daughter's business.
You must really like him.
You can feel that one coming.
Marilyn, quick
sí,
question.
señor. Sí,
Quick
sí.
question. Is Arturo isn't the specialist that they're gonna? I'm confused.
No,
he's
no,
a
no, no.
psychiatrist, right?
También sí.
So how did he hook up with the Castillo family?
He hooked up with the Castillo family because Raquel was looking for wife number one. Don Fernando thought wife number one died in the bombing because that was looking pretty dire.
Okay,
Phone lines cut,
right.
cable lines for telegrams cut. He got to get out of Dodge because he's fighting on the wrong side. So, you know, he had no idea. She thought he was dead. He thought she was dead. They both took off their own sad ways, which it really in the 1930s is not that far-fetched. Okay. Now, modern days, you would say, hey, couldn't they have tried a little harder? But this would be hard back in 1930s when your infrastructure is blown up, which it was all over the place. So, okay.
He's the brother of the grandson, no, the son that died of Fernando. Okay,
wife number one goes to Argentina.
Okay.
Meets a new hubby, gets married.
Right.
Has kid from husband number one and gets married, has kid number two. Arturo is kid number two, different dad.
Okay, thank you. I kept saying, why is they're not looking for a psychiatrist for
Yeah, no. He
so
just happens,
confused, but now I get
he just
Probably
happens
all
to
need
be-
one.
Oh,
In a
so
nice-
Arturo is Angel's half brother then.
He's a
Yes.
half, yes.
And
Well,
they're half.
he was a half brother to the child from the first marriage. He's not a half brother really. He's not a half brother really, but you know, because family is such an all-encompassing thing, he would probably, if they liked him, you know, definitely include him. You know, he would be one of those people who would be an uncle, even though he's not an uncle by blood to Don
So
Fernando.
who's
or, you
Arturo's
know,
mama?
Arturo's mama is wife number
Rosario.
one.
Rosario.
Okay.
Rosario.
But Arturo's
So-
dad is the second husband of wife number one.
Okay.
So technically, he's not related.
But Angel Castillo, mama,
Angel Castillo, who was child number one, she was preggers during the bombing.
so Arturo and Angel Castillo have the same mother.
See,
They have the same
Rosario.
mom,
It's
right,
the
right.
Rosario.
but
It's-
different dads.
Yeah. Mhm.
Different dads, so they're half brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah, Angel, right, Angel, and so the connection
Arturo.
is Arturo really is related to Angel and Angela, but Arturo is not related to the other Castillos. Okay,
Brother.
yeah, see,
They
eso es.
they have the same mother,
They have the
No.
same mom.
so they're half brothers.
Married into the
No,
family.
no. Their mother was Carmen.
Their mother
Their
was
mother
Carmen.
was Carmen. The four
I
kids.
know,
their
isn't
mom
this
was-
complicated? This really is telenovela land, isn't it?
I see. Okay.
Wife number one, pregnant during the bombing. Oh my God, my husband's dead.
She moved
Oh
to
my
Argentina.
God, my wife's dead. Off they go, their separate ways. They each remarry in different countries. But she had the child from husband number one. It's just that husband number one never really found out.
Husband number one is
Don
Don
Fernando,
Sí.
right?
right.
So now, child from marriage number one
Is Angel Castillo.
is Angel. Angel is told your dad is dead. What does he know? He's some
Well,
kid in
but-
Argentina, right?
But by blood, Carlos and the rest of them, their mother has the same mother as Angel.
No.
No,
Uh,
no.
No.
Yeah.
It's a true telenovela.
Okay. Angel is from marriage number one. Angel has children. Angel's real dad, he never met. Angel's real dad is Don Fernando. And Angel never met his dad because he thought his dad was dead.
Right.
So his real dad, true father, biological father, is Don Fernando. But in the meanwhile, Don Fernando remarried and had a second family. All that second family, you know, I mean, yeah, they're kind of, they would have been related to Angel, but Angel didn't know it at the time.
No, but if
Totally
they
oblivious.
if they do a DNA test, Angel Castillo and on the 4 kids from Don Fernando and his second wife, they're all related.
Yeah, well,
Blood.
yeah,
Don Fernando.
yeah. But Arturo is not related to all of them. Okay.
I know.
Not by blood.
Es complicado, es complicado. Es muy complicado. Okay, vamos a ver. Let's take a look at some commands that will send you off to watch. I'll give you the link for the next episode, el próximo episodio. Okay, so now you see how the subjunctive actually has a relationship to this thing that is the oddball animal, the oddball animal that we call commands. We're going to use some tu commands, I'm going to send you off into some groups and work these two commands. And these are short things. Commands are short. They're short. There's not a whole lot of thinking about which words do I link together. There are only a few words to link together because you're telling somebody, hey, go do this, you know, and there might be a few details, but that's it. Okay, so I'm going to put you into some groups and we're going to work a little bit about these ideas and we're going to look at the first 5. These are affirmative commands. They're saying, go do it, go do it, go do it. Eat with us, have a cup of coffee with me, right? Get here, and you're going to need the verb arrive, llegar, arrive at 8, please. Sit down near the window and come on in. And for come on in, you would think, I need the word come, or I need the word enter. Well, you could, but most people are going to use this verb, pasar. I mean, that's just a fact. That's what they use to say, come on in. I'm standing in the doorway and I want you to come in. Come on in. I'll use this word verb pasar. These are all going to be the friendly tu commands. The friendly tu commands, not the opposite vowel thing. The friendly tu commands. Yeah? Okay? The friendly tu commands drop the S off, you know, unless it's in irregular. Ooh, shoot. And there are going to be a couple of them in there, right? Yeah. Do you have an idea of those first 5? See? Got the first 5 coming down? See? Yeah. Okay. I'm going to take that off to share. We're going to send you off into breakout rooms. ¿Cuántos somos? 12. Quizás 5 cuartos. Let's go with 5 rooms for now. 5 rooms from now. You're not going to need more than about really 5 minutes for this. You just won't. No, really, because look how short. Eat with us. You got to think about with us, but that's not a whole lot to think about. Come in. That's not a whole lot to think about. So you've got some there right away. 2 off the bat, 2 out of 5 that are super shorties. Super short. Okay. So we're going to be using comer. Make it a friendly command. Have a cup of, wait a minute, what verb should I use for have a cup? Should I use tener?
Tomar.
Tomar. Boom. Number 1, use comer. Número 2, use tomar. Número 3, use llegar. Número 4, sentarse. Okay, that one's a little more complicated. Sentarse. Y número 5, pasar. That's what you're using. 5 mandatos. ¿Sí? ¿Está bien? Okay. Hit your join button. Está pensando, está pensando. It's thinking, it's thinking. Maravilloso. Ok. Uno. Y aquí vienen todos. Here should come everybody back. Así es. Muy bien. Fantástico. ¿Fue fácil o fue difícil? Was it hard or was it easy? ¿Fue fácil o difícil? Más o menos.
Fácil, except for número 4.
Okay. Okay. And I want you to notice something. Every single one of the verbs here is going to be considered a regular command. And remember, we want these to be two friendly commands, but you know, we may take a look at what the formal command would look like, just for the heck of it. Okay, a ver. Entonces, ¿cómo se dice? How would I say this idea of eat with us?
Come con nosotros.
Come con nosotros. Come con nosotros. Eat with us. Now, if it were a formal command, it would sound like this. Coma con nosotros. And this formal command, coma, is what would look like that funny subjunctive I told you, like I want that you guys eat with us, or I want that you eat with us. Okay, that's what it would look like, coma. But the tu command, the friendly command, is just comes without the S at the end. Okay, número dos, have a cup of coffee.
Pasta? The cafe?
Toma.
Toma. Toma. Un café. Here's the shortest way. Un café.
Sí.
You could say una taza de café, but un café. Toma un café.
Conmigo.
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 Conmigo. Conmigo. Conmigo is one of those special words. It just is. I know it's con nosotros, but conmigo and contigo do that funny ego thing.
So nice.
Conmigo, contigo, with me, with you, conmigo, contigo, with me, with you. Okay, formal, if it were a formal command, it would be tome un café conmigo, bien? Okay, vale, get here at 8. If we're going to use llegar,
Llega.
Aquí a las 8, por favor.
llega aquí a las 8, or you could probably just even leave it as llega, but llega aquí a las 8, por favor. Oh, and if you really want to be very fancy, you shorten it to porfa, porfa, porfa.
Porfa.
Porfa, porfa, porfa. Llega aquí a las 8, porfa. But if you were talking to somebody as an usted command, it would be llegue a las 8, porfa. Sí, bien, llegue. It would have to be G-U-E. That's the spelling thing, but llegue, it would sound like an E, right? Instead of an A. So the tu command is a llega. Oh, sit down.
Siéntate.
Siéntate. Siéntate. We have to plug that te onto the end. It's a yes command, we do attach. A yes command, we do attach. Siéntate, because sientas would be the tu form, we ditch the S. Siéntate, siéntate, near the window, cerca de la ventana, right? Ventana, bien. If it were a formal command, like a waiter talking to you, it would be siéntese cerca de la ventana. So see, a waiter is not going to talk to you like your grandma, your friend's grandma talking to you, right? In a family setting. Siéntate in a familiar command, but siéntese formal, okay? Vale, magnífico. Come on in.
Pasa.
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 That's it.
Okay.
Pasa. But a vendor, a person who owns a store, if he doesn't know you, may say it this way, or to more than one of you, right? Pasen. Okay? Vale. Bueno.
Going back to number 4.
Sí.
We kind of were a little confused over whether it should be siéntete or siéntate.
Is sentarse, an AR verb. A to command goes back to
The two.
whatever the to form was, and we just rip off the S. Te sientas, you're sitting down.
Right, but when I actually looked it up and it said, where is it now?
These are two different verbs.
It said siente for,
Oh, to
Siente is a formal command, yes. So this here, siente, is formal.
see.
okay.
Step.
I have siente for tu and sienta for usted on this, so
Opposite.
that's why.
Siéntate.
confused.
So
Yeah.
here's why it also gets confused. There are two verbs that look exactly alike, except one of them's an AR verb and one of them's an IR verb.
Ah, okay.
Sentarse is to sit down and sentirse is to feel an emotion. Por ejemplo, entonces, me siento muy confundida. Me siento muy confundida. I feel really confused. Me siento muy alegre. I feel really happy. Me siento muy triste. I feel really sad. And sentirse, being an I verb, and sentarse, and they're both stem changers to boot. They're going to sound really alike, except those endings are different because one's an AR verb and one's an IR verb. But you know what? If somebody's going to say near the window, they're not going to be telling you feel near the window. They're going to be telling you sit down near the window, right? So that sentirse is off the tray, off the plate. We cannot use sentirse, it's sentarse. And the two commands keep the right vowel if they're affirmative commands. Come from comer, toma from tomar, llega from llegar, sienta from sentar, pasa from pasar, right? So normales, those are all the normal ones, right? Normales. We got a bunch of oddball ones coming up next. I must preguntar, so are there any other questions about those that we had? Sí o no?
No.
Okay, here are the last ones we're going to do. And there are a lot of odd ducks in this one, except for the very last one, which is super, super easy. Super fácil, super fácil. Give me that. Be careful. Come here. Tell me more. Call me later. And I've got the infinitive that you need below all of them. Give me that needs dar. Be careful needs tener. Come here needs venir. It does need come. Tell me more needs decir. And call me later needs llamar. Okay. Now these are going to be a little problematic because dar, oh no, dar is normal, es normal. Dar muy normal. That's real normal because dar will just take das and ditch the s, right? But tener, venir, decir, they're part of Bendisal has 10 weapons, eh? Bendisal has 10 weapons. 7 through 9 have oddball, irregular. I can't take tienes and ditch the s. I can't take bienes and ditch the s. I cannot take dices and ditch the s. Okay, they are affirmative commands. They are go do it kind of commands, but 7 through 8 have oddball things that are not like these 1 through 5 things. Okay, so think a little bit about that. Everybody got those down? See? Vale? Bien. Okay. Entonces, we're going to give you a little more than 5 minutes. Sí o no? Quizás no, maybe not. We're still going to give you 5 because then we'll come back and we'll talk about it. And then we're going to talk a little bit more about the movie and then we will be done. Okay, 5 minutos para hablar de esto. Muy bien, aquí vienen. Hola, hola. I had no idea it was going to put two Susanas in the same room. Okay. ¡Qué coincidencia! Uy. Ok. Muy bien, muy bien. Ok. Más difícil, ¿no?
Sí.
Mucho más difícil, mucho más difícil. These are sadly things that people need to kind of memorize, but we are going to, perdón, we are going to, perdón, ay, a ver. Screen's going cuckoo, aquí. Okay, vamos a ver. Let's take a look. I'm going to pull this up so that we can just plug this in. Dar, muy normal. Muy normal. ¿Cómo se dice? Give me that. Dame eso. Dame eso. Dame eso. Give me that. Yeah, that's
Can
it.
you say dámelo? Dámelo?
You could say dámelo, and then you're turning, instead of saying that, you're saying it, but would that make sense? Yeah, that would make sense. Dámelo, I need a little accent mark. Doesn't matter when you're speaking, right? Only matters when you're writing. Dame eso, give me that, literally, or dámelo, give it to me, sure. Claro, sí, okay. Be careful.
Ten cuidado.
Ten cuidado. Ten cuidado. Ten cuidado. Ten cuidado. Okay, come here. Uy.
Ven aquí.
Ven aquí. Ven aquí. Ben, 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 ben. That's what you'll hear people doing, and they'll probably do this. Ben aquí. They may say it as ben acá. You may very, very likely hear it expressed as ben acá.
Oh,
Yeah, very likely, because that acá thing is used with movement, and ben is movement. Yeah. Don't worry about it too much. They know what you mean with aquí or acá. They know what you mean. Ben aquí, ben, ben, come, ben. Okay, bien. So, if you're talking to a little kid, it's ben, right? Okay, tell me more.
Dime más.
Dime más.
Dime más.
Dime más.
Dime más. Dime más. A yes command, I have to attach it. Just like dame, I have to attach it. Dime, I have to attach it. Decir uses D. Tener uses ten. Venir uses ben. Decir uses D. And now we've got a perfectly regular verb sandwiched in here for the last one, because by this time your brains are almost fried. So we've got, call me.
Llámame.
Llámame.
Luego.
Luego. Luego. Más tarde. There are different ways to say later. Más tarde. Luego. Después. You could even use después. Sí. Después. Sí, sí, sí.
Good one, Juanita.
Yeah. So there are a lot of ways that you can express the idea of later. Después, later on. Luego, más tarde. Any of those are perfectly legit. Any of those. So there are different ways to express the later part of it. But the llámame is llámame, okay? So we've got these commands. Dame, regular. Llámame, muy regular. Pero ten, ben, di. Irregulares, formas irregulares. Muy difíciles, okay? Okay, vale. We are going to do the negative tus next week. So I'll make sure you've got these. Son más difíciles. These are much harder. So I'm going to give these to you to take a look at and ponder them over the week. And remember, negative tu, unlike gets a totally different verb than affirmative tu. Totally different verb. Negative tu is going to sound like the usted commands. The S comes back. Up here, the S goes away. Come, toma, llega, sienta, okay? Pasa. the S, like, pasas, the S goes away, right? Comes, the S goes away. But here, down here with the negatives, that S is going to come back. It's going to be opposite vowel and the S. So they're going to be exactly formed like an usted command, but we're going to plug an S on the end. And we've got to have a no because they're negative, right? So we'll send you off with some information about that and just what these are. So do ponder those. Those are going to take more time. Vale, magnífico. Ahora, quiero hablar con ustedes un poquito. ¿Qué opinan ustedes? ¿Qué va a pasar con Patty y Juan? Let's go back to Patty y Juan. ¿Qué va a pasar con Patty y Juan?
Divorcio.
El divorcio es una posibilidad.
Sí.
¿Van a divorciarse o no van a divorciarse? No sabemos. Es posible.
Opino que Jorge va a llegar a México. Él va a intentar ligar con Patty. Ellos van a ir a Nueva York para trabajar en la obra de Patty.
I thought the same thing.
Qué interesante. Van a hacer la cosa quizás. Ok. ¿Es posible que Patty engañe a Juan? No sé. ¿Es posible que Juan vaya con Patty a Nueva York? ¿Es posible? No sabemos. Ok. ¿Qué va a pasar con Carlos en la oficina de Miami?
Carlos.
La oficina no tiene dinero.
La oficina no tiene... Sí, hay problemas con la oficina, es verdad. Entonces, ¿la oficina va a cerrar?
Sí.
¿Posible?
Quizás, no sabemos. Sería posible. ¿Qué va a pasar con don Fernando?
Don Fernando.
¿Va a mejorar? ¿Va a mejorarse? ¿Is he going to get better? ¿Va a estar bien o va a morir? ¿Va a tener una operación? ¿Qué va a pasar con don Fernando?
Fernando no morir.
No va a morir.
No.
¿Opinas que don Fernando no va a morir? No va a morir. Ya no, not yet.
No.
Todavía no.
No.
Todavía no. Ok. Bueno, va a conocer, is he going to meet? Va a conocer a los nietos.
Sí.
Ángela.
¿Creen que sí? ¿Que va a conocer a los nietos?
Sí.
Ok, es posible. Ok, a ver. Bueno, ¿y qué va a pasar con Raquel y Arturo?
Luis.
¿Qué opinan?
Arturo viajan a Los Ángeles.
¿Crees que Arturo va a viajar a Los Ángeles?
Sí.
Bueno, Keith cree que Arturo va a viajar a Los Ángeles con Raquel.
Opino que Luis va a proponer matrimonio. Arturo, Luis va a pelear por ella.
Pero
No.
yo creo que Luis es Sacha Baron Cohen en realidad. Okay. Yeah. Es no verdad. Es no verdad.
¿Creen ustedes, opinan ustedes que Raquel tiene que tomar una decisión entre Luis y Arturo?
Sí.
¿Qué sabemos de Luis?
Sacha Baron Cohen. Sí.
¿Era buen novio? Did he used to be? ¿Era buen novio? ¿O era normal?
No sé, pero he's a has-been.
Yeah.
Su familia gustan, le gustan.
Sí, la mamá.
Sí.
Sí.
Pero
Luis,
Raquel no le gusta.
sí. A la mamá de Raquel le cae muy bien Luis. A la mamá de Raquel le cae muy bien. She likes him. Le cae muy bien. She likes him. Sí, Luis. A la mamá le cae muy bien Luis. Ok, pero no sabemos cómo se siente Raquel de Luis. No sabemos nada. ¿Cómo se siente? How does she feel? ¿Cómo se siente Raquel de Luis? No sabemos. Es el antiguo. Luis es el antiguo novio. He's the has-been. Antiguo novio. El viejo. Antiguo novio es former. Es el, se dice antiguo novio o viejo novio o ex novio.
What was the second?
Viejo.
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 Not necessarily that he's an old man. No es novio viejo, es viejo novio.
Okay.
Former, used to be, has been.
No longer. No more. How do you say no more?
Didn't she say a long time ago that she had a long distance relationship and it didn't really work out or something like that?
Las cosas no funcionaron muy bien. Things didn't work
So,
out. Había problemas. Yeah, there were some problems. Pero había comentarios muy vagos. They were very vague comments.
You're fading away.
Oh, ¿yo? Oh.
Yeah, see? Oh, yeah.
Can hardly hear you.
I'm getting a funny audio setting thing. Aquí
We've gone too long.
Yeah.
No,
We're being rubbed off.
we have not. No, we have not.
It's Luis. Luis. It's Luis.
El Luis, sí, es el espíritu de Luis.
Sí,
El
sí, malo.
El antiguo novio, el viejo novio, el has been, el antiguo novio. Ay, bueno, personalmente prefiero a Arturo, pero, no sabemos, no sabemos nada de Luis. Debemos darle a Luis una oportunidad quizás de probar que vale la pena. Maybe he needs that chance to prove that he's worth it. Que vale la pena. He's worth it. Vale la pena. O quizás, maybe, quizás no valga la pena. Maybe he's not worth it. Todavía no sabemos. We still do not know. Okay, eso es todo. I will have you look at the negatives to prep for next week. If you have a book, read and see if you come back with any questions. And I will put, actually, no, none of you have a book yet. We'll talk, yeah, if you want a book, I'll give out the information about these two, which I would recommend for next step. So nobody has a book. We did not get a chance to talk about for that 4-day work week thing yet. Was that really super hard to understand or super easy or no?
No, it wasn't hard.
¿Quieren algo? Do you want something new to read for this week? Algo nuevo? Okay. And I would say if you only get maybe through half of this, it's a top 10 list. So if you only get through 5, that's good. Okay, because it's kind of longish, but it's easy. It's easier to read than the one that I gave you, I think, this last week. Okay, eso es todo. El nuevo episodio, mandatos negativos, the negative twos, right? The negative twos. You may need to review a little bit. How do I form those? So I'll send you off a little video about that. We'll do, vamos a hablar de la lectura. We'll talk about the reading because I think the episodio will not have as many commands in it this next week where we won't march through it. I wanted you to really notice those commands as we marched through that episodio. We may not need to march through the next episodio quite as much la semana que viene, the week that is coming. ¿Está bien? ¿Está bien? Bueno, I may ask your opinions, however, about the next episode. Opiniones, okay? We'll leave that for some conversation time, maybe in small group. Y eso es todo. And that is it. Magnífico. Entonces, ojalá, hopefully, God willing, ojalá que tengan una buena semana. ¿Bien?
Sí, gracias.
Ojalá que tengan buena semana. Y eso es todo. That's it. Okay? ¿Está bien?
Sí.
Sí.
Magnífico.